Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a minute. We have been doing the Searing Worlds Hardcore Solo Self-Found Class Gauntlet for the past 7 days. Well, I did not play yesterday, but we've just been kind of doing that. If you've been following along, you've been seeing I've been posting a couple of my rip clips, and there hasn't been too much else to talk about. I've kind of been holding off on a deeper video about it, and this one's still going to be pretty short, talking about the Gauntlet experience. And I also wanted to kind of let those thoughts settle a little bit and reflect for a day or two, maybe subconsciously, as I decompressed from the entire experience. Just spent some time honestly playing some other games. I did need a couple days away from like really grinding anything hard in PoE after that experience, but it was a good thing overall, and I want to talk about that a little bit today. So starting on Friday, I created my character. I don't remember what her name was. If you saw the initial pre-Gauntlet video, my plan was to do a Spectral Helix Raider and see how far I could go. And I think that that was a good plan. However, I did not properly prepare, and that is really the big thing that I want to talk about here. I kind of just went into it fully YOLO. I've actually never tried really hard in a Gauntlet before. I have killed Act 5 Kitava in a previous Gauntlet, but besides that, I've kind of just, played for a couple hours and just quit because I found it really painful. And this is the first Gauntlet that I actually really tried in. And I'm overall moderately happy with my results. If anything, I am really just encouraged to try harder in the future. So yeah, what I ended up doing is I made my Spectral Helix character. I got to Act 2 very quickly, actually. I was keeping up with the main pack of people that were playing. Like I was in like the top players of the Rangers, and I just glanced at chat for a little bit in Act 2, and I just died to, there was a group of Einhar beasts and, a big pack of monsters. And I thought my character was tanky enough, and she was not. Before I could react quickly enough, I died. I was feeling really, really good, and then I died, and honestly, that made me pretty upset. I thought I was gonna do very well. I have had some pretty good success in previous hardcore solo self-found races, especially ones that are pretty difficult. I had the rank 2 hardcore solo self-found occultist in Delirium Everywhere, and in Endless Heist and Endless Delve, I had rank 3 Raider. So I thought, hey, I've done pretty well in hardcore events in the past. I should be able to do pretty well here. And really my lack of preparation and my lack of experience with the super, super overtuned act bosses, as well as encounters like Azaro and all that, I just was not prepared. Now, I was able to adapt fairly quickly to most of these, but my deaths they just felt really stupid. I don't feel like I made severe mistakes. It was lack of preparation and truly knowing the scary mods there. But anyway, continuing the story. So my first character died. Was very sad about that. Characters 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just ran into Hailrake and died, ran into whatever and died. Honestly, in my head, those ones don't even count. I was really, really upset after the first character died. And I just kind of threw those at the wall. They died really, really quickly. As you can see, I named them Chocolate Scarf. Let's see. I have my old chocolate beanie, and I had a scarf here. And so that's where that's how I named most of my characters, actually. So my second character was Chocolate Scarf 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So that basically denotes the number of deaths that I've had. Well, when 6 dies, that means I had 7 deaths. So I had 7 deaths total. But then Chocolate Scarf 1 through 4, I kind of just threw them at the wall, let them die. That was really just an emotional recovery from my first character dying. I was not prepared for that. I thought I was going to do very well, right off the rip. That really demonstrates my lack of preparation. But Chocolate Scarf 5, she died in the dumbest way possible. It was an explosive arrow ballistic character. Number one problem with her is I never found a Quill Rain. So that build without a Quill Rain feels awful. The damage was so hyper delayed because without a Quill Rain, the damage takes forever to come out because just the less attack speed on the ballistas. So that felt really, really bad, but I was able to push through, and I was actually about 30 minutes from killing Kitava. And I'm very confident on the Kitava fight. I stupidly walked into Avarius, and he did an auto attack that killed the character with 4,000 life in Act 10, and really good armor and evasion as well. Really, really, really blew me away and surprised me. I just didn't think that there was that much damage that was going to happen. I had Defiance Banner, Grace, Determination, everything, max spell suppression, and just a regular little auto attack one-shot me. I was depressed for a day, but then my competitive spirit came back a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this another go. I got Twink gear still in my stash. I can, put on a tabula and gold rim, whatever, and go again. And so Chocolate Scarf 6 was a poisonous concoction pathfinder, and she was doing very, very well. I actually felt awesome about that build, especially when I got to Act 7. I was able to run up and down the harbor bridge really, really quickly with Plague Bearer. I was hyper over leveled, like +8 to +10 zone level. I had like 4,200 to 4,300 life. She was killing it. Felt really, really good. The problem with her is, as a Pathfinder and with the gear that I had found, I had like 25% spell suppression, but not more than that. It's very, very hard to cap out spell suppression if you're not a raider, at least early on. And my main issue with her is I over prioritized going for raw life instead of something like spell suppression or even more spell block. I did have Tempest Shield, but no spell block on top of that. And as you see in the rip clip above right now, she died to just getting shotgun from Chevron's books. The main problem was that I was in a bright room. I had the sun shining in. I was playing in the morning, and it was a very, very dark encounter. I actually couldn't see the books on the monitor until it was too late. And even then, I was not properly scared of them. Like you can see right before I died, I was trying to dash away from them. In the normal game, only like 1, maybe 2 of those books would have hit me. But because of the turbo, I was not prepared for the timing. And the 70% increased AoE, they all shotgunned me and killed me. And really, I think if I had max spell suppression, I was just a little bit more scared of those books, I would have done fine. And so that's how Chocolate Scarf 6 died. And after that, I was really disappointed in myself. I took a full day off from playing the Gauntlet. Yesterday, I was thinking about playing the Gauntlet again, and I had to stop myself. I have a very strong history of playing competitive games. I kept looking at PoE Racing, and I was like, you know what? I still could get top 5 Ranger if I start a character right now and I grind it out. There were still 4 days remaining yesterday morning, and I wanted to push through. But I stopped myself. The main thing that I'm trying to do right now, actually, is try to find a second game to play as kind of like my side game, play on stream, and maybe make additional YouTube content for that. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. The most popular game, actually, that people are voting for is Destiny 2. So if you're interested in that, definitely let me know. But all sorts of other games, I do want to look at, take quick looks at indie games and play MOBAs and stuff like that as well. But like what I want to add in is like additional YouTube content, something along the line, something juicy where I can like talk about builds and strategy like that. So that's a quick little aside. Definitely let me know if you're interested in any of that. But back to the Gauntlet here. All of that in retrospect though. I played 7 characters. I died 7 times. I was in like the top 30 Rangers a couple of times there, and I was in spitting distance of getting top 5, but I just made some very critical mistakes, and my characters died. How do I feel about that? It's an interesting event. The number one thing, as I touched on it a little bit earlier, the number 0 thing that I should have done that I was not prepared for is doing some practice and doing some preparation. There were people doing temporary leagues that were kind of trying to simulate the experience. They were doing things like reserving 50% of their life, really trying to play around the increased AoE and all that type of stuff. And next Gauntlet, I think I am going to give that a shot. I think that especially the AoE. So like what I want in one of those temp leagues is to not be hardcore, right? Make it solo self-found, but not hardcore. Let me really, really practice the bosses, right? Like let me throw my face at it like Dark Souls. And like that's what I would really experience, right? Like because what I really value is being able to attain mastery through doing reps on it, right? Being able to go in there like, okay, what does this attack feel like? What does this spell feel like? What are my thresholds that I need to hit so I can ensure that I don't die in the Gauntlet? So that's going to be my real goal going into the next Gauntlet is I want to be able to do reps on each boss in preparation before the Gauntlet and make sure that I know exactly what's scary, exactly what my breakpoints are that I can ensure that won't get me killed, right? I want to know that, okay, if I have 5,000 life against Avarius and he hits me with his stupid staff attack again, that won't kill me. Like I can over-prepare, right? So that's really the big different thing that I'm going to do next Gauntlet. The other thing is like, how do I feel about the Gauntlet and that whole experience of playing it? I think it's, definitely consider playing this if you want to level up your abilities in the game. The most interesting thing as I reflected on my experience in there is every time I was able to do an encounter a second time after I died from it, right? I would die from an encounter. Maybe I should have, almost definitely I should have looked this up first. I would go to PoE type in the name of the monster, look at all of their moves, look at the damage that they're doing, multiply it by 2 because the gauntlet was double damage on all the monsters. And also like actually look up the size of the AoE of things, try to estimate like plus 70 AoE on that. Look at the timings of things, right? Like, oh, if this thing is normally a 1 second ability, right? If we add 40% haste on that, okay, it's going to be much faster. Just basically assume it's going to be twice as fast, right? Actually doing that preparation and study, it's obviously this is a full pain champ experience. This is not a, hey, I'm just relaxing and playing video games type of thing. But the very interesting thing is I've been leveling a new character. I'm actually making a Poisonous Concoction Pathfinder that I'm going to respec into something else later. And just to like replay it in regular league play, the analogy that I've been saying on stream is it's like, like a baseball player when they put weights on the bat as they just do some practice swings before they walk up to the plate. And it's like training weights where when you take them off and you went to regular league play, I felt like I was a god. And that was a very cool experience, right? I've been playing this game for 6 years. I have top placed in hardcore solo self-found like challenging events before, but I never knew that you were supposed to stand close to Weaver instead of far away, right? The only very specifically in this type of encounter does that even matter, right? Like I've always been able to out DPS the Weaver and dodge its abilities because it's slow enough and it doesn't shotgun with LMP and so much haste and all that. It really recalibrates the way that your brain understands these encounters and you like truly understand the abilities. When I killed Act 5 Kitava in regular league, it was like watching the game in slow motion. It's actually like really, really cool when your brain attains full mastery and understanding of the encounter to the point where just like, I could just go into regular hardcore solo self-found right now and I wouldn't even be worried or stressed because like the game just feels so easy. I think that that's a really cool thing for like recalibrating your understanding of the game and your capabilities. Really, the number one thing that I would say here is like, if you haven't played the Gauntlet yet and you're even slightly curious about what it feels like, or if you played the Gauntlet, you died to Hillock and you kind of noped out, the one thing that I would say is like, if you want to improve yourself, and you don't have to, you can just play 6 Portal Andy all day. But if you want to improve yourself, just like I would set like a mini goal of like kill Brutus or even kill the Weaver. And if you are able to pull that off and do that preparation and just stick through it for like one day, just one day, try to push through that and level up your abilities. When you go back to regular trade league, like you play in 3.18. I think you will be so much more of an accomplished player and things will click so much quicker that like, even if your goal in trade league is to get through the acts quicker or trade better or be able to farm better, this will level up your abilities and your understanding of the game in a way that you may surprise yourself. And so while this was, I played 7 characters, I played dozens and dozens of hours. I think I was like 20 hours played on this one and like 16 on this one. 16 or 17 on this one. It was a lot of time dedicated. It was very pain champ, but it is this. I'm actually going to flip a phrase that I was saying before on its head here. It is something supposedly difficult that was not fun, but I do plan on doing it again because it's a interesting and enriching experience. I think it's a cool thing, and I'm glad that Zizarin and Shopify and that whole group is organizing it. I think it does represent a very positive thing for the Path of Exile community, and I think more events like this are very cool, and I'm glad that it exists. So thanks for watching my little digest on this video. Thank you for subscribing and hanging out, and I'm glad you appreciate the content. Let me know again in the comments below what else you'd like to see. If you have any other questions about my thoughts on this event, would love to talk about it. It was a very cool thing, and as always, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.